Yeah, so I've been here for just a few months. I came from a Toyota store, was there for 8 years, and just trying to get acclimated to this type of customer base. My situation was a lot of my customers were repeat customers. It was a little bit easier to sell them on products, and obviously this is a different customer base, so I've seen my numbers take a step back. I've had to reinvent my pitch, and I think that's also what affected me in where I am as far as my numbers right now.
Reinventing your pitch and handling the customer's concerns after your pitch are two different things.
Okay.
The best way to align yourself with a customer in today's market is to give them a telling pitch rather than a selling pitch.
Okay.
All right. With Toyota, it's a little bit different. Those people have a little bit more patience and they're able to hang in there a little bit more. These folks here, I believe, the Highline customer doesn't have that patience, and then they don't have the willingness to hang in there and listen. So if you give them a telling presentation, pays for it, end the conversation, which option works best for you, any questions, and then go into what you did good at Toyota, what you did well at Toyota, are able to redirect the customer's thinking. Let's face it, again, this is an absolute fact. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody wants these options. The only thing is they don't see enough value to pay for. Going from where you were at Toyota into a BMW dealership, it is a different clientele. Not physically different, but the mindset's different. And I don't think the BMW buyer has as much patience or is willing to hang in there in the long presentation.
Right. Okay, I see that.
Whereas Toyota, it's more, I'm not saying it's a fun sale, but this is more of, a BMW is like a business, real serious, let's get down to business, I just want to get it done. A lot of stuff is done over the phone and stuff like that. So here would be my recommendations to you. Take your first column.
Okay.
Load it up with the options that are available. Do you have a bundled product for the customer?
Yeah.
All right, so I would do a bundle, a vehicle service contract. Do you do introductions? In other words, do you talk with customers prior to them coming into the office?
If I'm being honest, I don't do it as much as I should.
All right, that's key, all right? Especially with this type of buyer. There's three types of buyers we always talk about. There's the hybrid buyer, which will do a lot on the online and more than willing to come into the brick and mortar. And then you have the traditional buyer, which you don't find a lot in a Highline store, BMW. That's the guy who has a flip phone and goes kicking tires. Most customers do their research before they even consider this dealership.
Okay.
Then they talk to a sales consultant, they get closer to a deal, and the next thing you know, they're coming in to buy the car.
Right.
70% of the time, they're ready to do business. The challenge you're going to face is if you're not involved in those deals early, then they're just being thrown on your lap, and again, they don't have the patience, they're not the willingness to just sit there and listen. Where were you in the 2 or 3 days or the 2 weeks I was trying to buy this car? So
that does make sense. Yeah, that does make sense. Because I noticed that particularly in this type of store versus the Toyota store, most of the Toyota transactions were like the same day. You know, customer comes in, they're interested, and they're buying the car. Whereas this customer base, I noticed a lot of times they come in, they're not buying a car today. Tomorrow they're building a car, they're doing this, they're doing that, and it's probably a deal will get consummated probably as much as a week or maybe months after the original point of contact.
All you have to do, seriously, is make an introduction to those customers. Tell them who you are, what you do, and when it gets closer to finalization of the transaction, you want to be involved in it. So you'll be contacting them as soon as the vehicle's located, as soon as the vehicle's in transit, as soon as the vehicle's here, as soon as the delivery's been set up, you're going to contact them. Unlike the typical F&I manager in these situations, you're not just going to wait for them to come in and then be plopped in your office and start everything when they get to the dealership. And that's what irritates and sends apprehensions to a customer. So your willingness to get early involvement is only going to enhance your ability to sell more. Because customers are going to pay more attention to you. Because we call it the DMT. I know it sounds crazy. Do I matter to you? If a customer gets a sense that they matter to you, they're going to be more apt to listen to what you have to say. Now let's talk about the 4-column menu. The fact that this is digital, that's what attracts a BMW dealer or a Highline dealer. The fact that it's all digital, it's all high tech, and you got to tell them this is going to be real easy. It's all digitalized. Everything's going to be simple. Boom, 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 boom. And then I would suggest to them, you get a lot of leases here?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the other thing is probably because of the month or whatever, the first month, I think I saw an unusually low amount of leases in cash, and that's probably why my numbers look great coming into it. And then all of a sudden I go up to a 7 70% leasing cash, and I'm ready to jump off a bridge.
I get it. That's true. You have that 1 month, you come in and it's, oh man, this is going to be a piece of cake. And the next thing you know, you got 70% leasing and everybody's coming in with cash. All right, I get it. There's a word called enhancement I use a lot.
Right.
There's a number of options to enhance your ownership or lease experience. All right. One of the things you want to find out early or before you give a presentation is, has that customer leased the vehicle before? The chances are in this particular dealership, they probably have.
More than that. Most of them are like, oh, this is my 4th, my 5th, my 10th. Yeah.
Okay. So you have products that you have available to a lease customer. I don't know if you've ever seen our video regarding essential and non-essential spending.
I've seen a few of them.
Okay.
I don't know if I've seen that particular one.
All right. So convenience.
Okay.
That's what you need to sell. You need to sell the convenience and the fact that every customer who leases a car has non-essential spending.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
That's exactly what a customer's going to say. What do you mean by that? You have non-essential spending when you lease a car. They're going to say, what do you mean by that? Well, your essential spending is make the payments, insure it, and maintain it. All right?
Okay.
And BMW gives you, what, 2 years of maintenance?
They give you 3 years of
3 years?
Your oil, yeah.
Okay. And then the maintenance that you add to that is residualized.
Correct.
So it's a benefit to the customer, right?
Right.
So that is essential spending, which can become non-essential. What I mean by that is, if you get a flat tire, all right, and it's a run flat wheel, just think about the consequences. All right, those tires are going to go out in 10,000 miles. You know that, the run flats.
Right.
So you're going to have to replace those tires, and the chances of getting a flat with those tires and having to replace that run flat tire, and it's a very expensive tire, not to mention the low profile rims. That's what we call non-essential spending. Do you want to be faced with a $15,000, $18,000, $2,000 repair bill? Those tires are $300, $350, $400. All right, that's non-essential spending. You're leasing this vehicle. You know you're going to make the payments. You know you're going to put gas in it. You know you're going to put insurance on it. Why would you want to spend even $400 more for a tire and wheel when you don't have to, when you can include it in the lease? All right, you can increase the maintenance to items that when it comes in for an oil change, they're going to come out and say this is required by the manufacturer. Because if you don't follow the manufacturer's guidelines and something were to happen to the vehicle during your lease, you're going to pay for it at the end. That's the type of dialogue you have to have with the customer. If you have a lease customer, look at them and say there's a number of options to protect you against non-essential spending. And the customer will go, what do you mean? And they explain to them, make the payments, put gas in it, put insurance on it, that's what you got, and maintain it, that's what you got to do. Anything else that happens to that vehicle is wasted money. The only entity that's going to benefit from you putting a wheel or tire on it, fixing a ding or dent, fixing a scratch in the interior, putting a windshield in it, having to replace tires or wheels, is BMW or the next owner.
Right.
So why don't you protect yourself against that and lock in the cost of any of those things happen and transfer all that risk to someone else? So when you talk in terms of that, set them up. As long as you've developed a relationship or a connection with them prior to them coming in, your chances of selling them on a lease are going to be that much better. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right. The other thing you want to look at is the only column that matters is the first column.
Okay.
You say pitch. My team at Prep says pitch. I hate that word pitch.
Okay.
Because it's not a pitch, it's a tell. I just want to tell you what's available, right? Okay. That's it, to enhance your ownership or lease experience. And this is worry-free driving, right? This column right here represents worry-free driving. And I just want to share with you what's available to you so you can make a decision whether it's good or not.
Okay.
And the bottom line here is, keep this in mind. I don't care if it's a BMW buyer, or it's a Maybach buyer, or it's a friggin' Land Rover buyer, or a Toyota Corolla buyer, or a Chevy Cruze buyer. They don't want the product. The challenge we have as F&I managers, they don't see enough value to spend the extra money. And that's how you need to talk in terms, especially with this buyer. I get it. You don't see enough value to spend the extra money. Not any value, enough value. I found that most customers who choose not to enroll in these options or any of these options, they tell me it's because they just simply don't see enough value in these options. What do you see the most value in? Have you ever had a flat tire? Have you ever experienced having to replace a rim, having to replace a key fob, all right? Retail buyers. After the factory warranty's gone, labor rates are how much in your shop right now?
Oh, they're up there. I mean, any little thing.
$365.
Yeah. Huh? How much?
$365.
$365 an hour? Seriously?
No, I mean, they're not cheap back there in service.
Your customer doesn't understand that. Your customer who never experienced a flat tire, who never experienced losing a key fob in a BMW, who never experienced maintenance beyond just the oil changes, they don't know the cost. So what you need to do is you need to have some type of evidence manual. This is absolutely wonderful.
I got that idea from your
you got to be able to move it on top of the document.
Ah, okay.
So get along.
And I just wanted to get better pictures as well, because I was trying to come across like some pictures that I came across in service about there, but I was like, these aren't like crazy enough. I want like something that's a little bit more.
All right, so I'll send you some PDF forms.
Nice. Okay.
All right, and you can upload to this. I would definitely get a longer cord so you can take this evidence man and place it right on top of your DocuPad. Are you familiar with the DocuPad at Toyota? Did you have the DocuPad at Toyota?
We had it for a few years, so I'm pretty.
Okay, so you're comfortable with the DocuPad?
I'm pretty comfortable with the DocuPad.
All right. If you were to take a piece of paper and just place it on top of the other three columns and just explain the first column to the customer,
okay,
and then at the end of the first column, just explain the features that are available and explain them in a telling manner. I always talk about pays for this and pays for that. The vehicle service contract for obviously a retail buyer pays for all mechanical breakdowns after the factory warranty has expired. The tire and wheel pays for damage to your tires and wheels and damage by a road hazard. You have fabric and paint or whatever. The fabric and paint is the only thing that really protects the vehicle against the elements: acid rain, bird drop, tree sap. And then you have the key replace, whatever, and just go down. Pays for the customer's financing, guaranteed asset protection will pay the difference between the insurance company settling what you owe. And then look at the customer and say, these would be your payments. Do you have any questions? That's what we call the free note. And then try to open up dialogue, all right? You may say, of all these options I just shared with you, which one makes the most sense? You may want to do it individually, Jeremy. You may want to list the products individually so that you can look at the customer and say, one of the nice things about doing business here is we can actually bundle these products. In other words, you can take the tire and wheel, the key replacement, the fabric, whatever the bundle includes, and you can bundle it. One contract, saving you money, all right? And then make a joke out of it, loosen the customer up. Flow, aggressive, or what's his name, Andy Reid. You can do stuff like that to loosen up that BMW buyer.
Right.
There was a situation one time, I was in Texas at a BMW store. It was a funny story. And I would say Tom was the F&I manager. And I was sitting with him having a conversation like this, and he had a deal coming in. And this is when interest rates went way, way up.
Okay.
So he says to me, watch this, Jerry. So I go, what are you going to do? He goes, just watch it. He goes out, does an introduction with the customer, gathers some information. The customer's standing at the doorway. He walks in, tells the customer to have a seat, looks at the customer and says, what are you going to do with all the money you're saving? And the customer goes, what are you talking about? He goes, you're taking the sub-vended rate. The average rate is 7.9% right now. You're saving hundreds of dollars monthly. You're probably saving $30 or $40 a month. What are you going to do with that money? The guy goes, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And Tom goes, can I show you what to do with it?
That's a good one.
And then he went through a presentation.
Yeah.
But it loosened up the guy.
Right.
So you got to know your audience, and that's why it's important to do an introduction. That's why it's important to form a connection with that customer. Know what you got. So instead of the customer just coming in here, you know how they're always coming in like this?
Right.
And you probably do a really good job because you're not intimidating, you're well dressed, you're well groomed, you look like you can take control of the situation. And that customer comes in and he's like this, and all of a sudden you start talking and then you loosen them up a little bit.
Right.
And then you draw them in, all right? And then, the DocuPad is a real nice means of getting them in there because they got the pen, they're on top of everything. And if you take a piece of paper and you cover the other three columns, they're going to wonder what's under there, okay? And you just go through that first column with them in the manner I just shared with you, and what's the result? And then at the end of the presentation, talk about convenience with these folks. Talk about I get it. Customers don't see enough value. Certainly there's something here of value. Have you ever had a flat tire? Have you ever misplaced your keys? Always talk about in terms of the machine, not the person. Not when you hit a pothole, when the machine hits a pothole. So my father-in-law owns a BMW. I think he actually services it here.
Okay.
He's got tire and wheel program. He's got a tire and wheel program. And he calls me up one day and he goes, you know where I am, Jerry? I go, I don't know, where are you? He goes, I'm at the tire store. And I go, what are you doing at the tire store? He goes, I have 2 flats and they're $380 a piece. Just for the tire. He goes, do I have tire and wheel? I said, I get your tire and wheel, I get the service contract, you're all protected, don't worry about it. And that's such a nice feeling. And when you tell stories like that, the customers who had the product and how relieved they are to know that they don't have to spend their money, even the guy who, I'm self-insured, I can afford it. Because a lot of people are going to sit here and say, I'm not worried about it, I need to pay, what's $400 to me? $400 is an inconvenience. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. and Mrs. Jones? Wouldn't you rather transfer the risk to someone else? That's how it works. Until next time, go get it.